What's up? I've noticed that there's been this YouTube channel that's been blowing up lately. It's called His Story. Weird how his name kind of sounds like history. Coincidence? Most likely. Anyways, I've picked out a few videos from his channel for us to watch today. Let's begin, shall we?
I shot up out of bed the second I heard glass shattering, grabbed my trusty bat from underneath, and flew down the stairs before I could think.
We're like 5 seconds to the first video. I'm already starting to like this channel. This should be a good video then, right?
A shattered vase was spread across the floor, and my dog's crate sat wide open, empty. I called Biscuit's name through the whole house and got nothing back.
They kidnapped Biscuit. Wait, who was it who kidnapped Biscuit? Why would they need to kidnap Biscuit? I'm starting to have so many questions.
Then I spotted a cracked phone glowing in the broken glass, dropped by whoever knocked the vase over running out. The screen had one message on it: bring the Frenchie to the warehouse on Lowell by 6. I jumped up and down in my kitchen. This is sick. This is literally John Wick.
If I was in this situation, I would not be thinking like, oh my god, this is just like John Wick. I would probably be thinking something else. I don't know what, but it would be something else.
So I tossed the bat aside, dropped onto the couch, and watched the whole movie again to pump myself up.
If my dog were to get kidnapped, I would not be watching John Wick. That would be the last thing I'm doing.
And I threw on my only suit and tie, slid on a pair of blacked out shades, and spun a pencil once before holstering it in my jacket like a gun. They have no idea who they just messed with. Every last one of them is about to face my wrath.
Is bro trying to like aura farm or something? Bro really said,
every single one of them is gonna face my wrath.
I pushed through the warehouse door, and the first guy charged me, so I threw the hardest punch of my life, missed, and hit the wall behind him.
it was a brick wall too. That had to be really painful.
I shook out my hand. He wound up to swing, so I flinched and tripped into a stack of pallets. They toppled onto his head and knocked him out cold.
You know what? I'm gonna shut up and let the whole scene play.
I cracked my neck like I'd meant to do that. Another guy pulled a gun, but right as he aimed, my cheap suit pants split down the back. I bent down to check just as he fired, so the bullet sailed over my head, pinged off a metal pole, and ricocheted back into him. He crumpled to the floor crying. I followed the barking to a cage in the back, guarded by the biggest man I'd ever seen. He lifted me off the floor by my collar while my legs kicked at nothing, but Biscuit shoved his squeaky bone through the bars. The giant stepped back onto it, and 400 pounds came down on his own head. I grabbed Biscuit and held him tight. Then the boss rounded the corner with a gun, so I panicked and threw my pencil as hard as I could, just like the movie. It missed by a mile, clipped a propane tank, and the blast sent him through the window into the night sky like a rocket. The place caught fire, so I carried Biscuit out, and the second we cleared the door, the warehouse exploded behind us, and I never looked back. I didn't land a single punch in there, but when people ask how one guy leveled a warehouse and got his dog back, I fix my tie and say I trained for it.
Wow. This one is titled My Pet with a banana emoji.
I brought my pet chimpanzee named Lemon into class for show and tell.
That would actually be cool. Showing your monkey for show and tell. Man, why were my show and tell so boring? Kids would just show up with their favorite toys.
But the teacher immediately yelled, "That thing is dangerous. It's gonna attack someone." I looked at Lemon calmly eating an apple in his shades and assured her he was fine.
Why are we all getting mad about the monkey? He's so chill.
But then a kid opened his bag. "I'm gonna prove that chimp's dangerous." He threw a thick textbook at Lemon's head, hitting him and knocking his glasses to.
Why are monkeys always getting mistreated? First we're rage baiting them, and now we're throwing books at their heads. Can monkeys just live in peace?
And knocking his glasses to the floor. I heard Lemon whimper, and he immediately cowered behind me, trembling and holding his apple close to his chest.
See, look what these kids did.
I looked around. See, he's not dangerous, but everyone was already pointing at the door. We don't want a rabid animal in our classroom. I turned back to Lemon's terrified eyes and decided it wasn't worth it. Fine, we'll leave.
Are you even allowed to do that? Because at my school, you can't just leave. At my school, it's just one long, boring process. The teacher has to call your parents. They have to write you a pass to the front office. Your parents have to sign you out at the front office. And then it's just really long and boring. Anyways, back to the video. I'm getting distracted.
But while walking out, the alarm suddenly
Wait,
blared.
what alarm?
Lockdown. This
Wait,
is not a drill.
lockdown?
I heard a rifle reloading in the hallway, and my blood ran cold.
Oh my god.
Everyone instantly panicked and scrambled under their desks, making noise as they did. Lemon clung to my chest, shaking, and we ran to hide. But then the door handle began rattling. A bullet rifled through and hit the window
so
inches
fast.
from our teacher's head.
Oh my,
Someone
she just
screamed,
almost died.
"We're gonna die," as the lock began splintering. I lay there, thinking this was it. But then Lemon jumped off my chest. Lemon, no. But he was already
Lemon's
running to
gonna
the
save
door.
them.
The lock broke and burst burst open, and the shooter stepped
Oh
in,
my
his
God.
finger on the trigger. But Lemon was already in the air. His eyes widened in horror as he saw a chimpanzee in a chain flying at
Let's
him.
go,
and he raised his
Lemon.
gun, but Lemon's fist
He's gonna
was
beat
already
him
at
up.
his
Oh.
forehead. It connected so hard I
Go,
heard a
Lemon.
crack, and he fell and dropped the gun. Lemon immediately began mauling him while he screamed for
Mauling
help,
him?
but I only called him off after someone kicked the gun away. He jumped
No,
into
I
my
thought this was
arms
a
while
show
the
and
shooter
tell
lay there
story.
in agony without a face, and the whole class was now hailing Lemon as the school legend.
Let's
I
go.
could bring him when I wanted
Lemon
to.
saved the day. That was just crazy. I couldn't have paused the video. Comment W Lemon. This one is called My Dad Hated That I Was Taller.
Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed, "Why are you still 5'10"?
What do you mean he's still 5'10"? What do you expect to happen? Him magically get shorter?
I stared down at my 5'3" dad, and he glared. "Stop looking down at me. No son of mine will ever look down on me."
I don't think the dad is mad that his son is 5'10". I just think he's just jealous. Besides, why does the dad care? He looks like he's pushing 85.
We're going to fix this before it's too late. And so the next day, Dad came into my room with x-rays of my legs marked with red X's saying, "I found a surgeon who will remove these bones so that you can finally be shorter than me."
What? Dad is so jealous that his son is taller than him. He's gonna have his son's legs basically removed. This is one crazy dude.
I already scheduled the surgery. I stared in horror while Dad jumped around saying he couldn't wait to be taller than me. I knew I had to make the surgery impossible, so I started running 26 miles non-stop, and even though it hurt, I kept going until my legs gave out because I needed my bones to be so damaged they couldn't operate on me.
You see, this is evidence that exercise can be the answer to a problem.
And then on the day of my scheduled surgery, the doctor took one look at x-rays of my damaged legs and refused to operate on me.
All according to plan.
Dad got angry. Why? He's perfectly fine. But the surgeon shook his head and pointed at the x-ray. His bones are too damaged. If I cut into them, they could shatter, and a shard of bone could hit his heart. Your son could die. Dad crossed his arms. I'm okay taking that risk.
This dude, I swear, risking his son's life so he can be taller than him. How jealous do you need to be?
Just do it so he can be shorter than me. But the doctor kept saying no, and I thought it was finally over. But when we got home, Dad grabbed his toolbox and said, "If a surgeon isn't going to fix this, then I'll do it myself."
I swear, this dad is insane. Anything but accepting the fact that his son is taller than him.
He chased me around the house screaming, "Get back here! You will be shorter than me!" I ran outside across the yard, and that's when Dad's foot got caught on the garden hose, and he fell down hard, and I saw both his legs were bent the wrong way.
Ha! Who's gonna need their legs surgically removed now? Sucker.
Dad screamed, and I called the ambulance, and when they arrived, paramedics loaded him onto a stretcher while one of them questioned me. "How do you know this man?" he asked. When I said he was my dad, his eyes bulged, and he looked back and forth between my dad and me, and then suddenly asked, "How is he your dad? He's so short."
Wait, where's mom in this story? You need to confirm that the main character is tall because he has a tall mom.
Dad thrashed so hard in the stretcher when he heard a paramedic had to sedate him.
Dang, he really doesn't like being called short. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.